Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check. Hello. Is this thing on?
First guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning. Yeah, see, this song don't do it justice, man. I need that Sherman Wells.
Keep forgetting about that. Yeah,
Yeah, man. It's like a shot of espresso. Wake up.
we need to figure out. We pulled it off of iTunes, so we need to figure out if it's the track that is going to be tagged on YouTube. We'll see though.
Yeah, Sherman. Tell them don't block us. We got called a label. Who we got called?
Wake up. Yeah. Time to wake up. We said on might as well time to wake up.
Yeah, wake up.
Wake up.
Playing games with your mind.
Shout out Sherman Wells. The wake up song. That's what's up. Good morning. First guy Omaha in the morning. Yeah, just letting you know that we're on, saying hello to the friends of First Guy Omaha, all our chat chimers, all our ghost listeners. It's gonna be quite the day,
man.
So, yeah, man, just hellos and how you doing before we get going with our 7:00 news broadcast. We encourage you to stick around for that because there's definitely lots to talk about today.
Man,
and, we also got a special guest coming in. Mr. Lance Fritz is in the house. We'll be talking about him shortly too. So welcome. It is Wednesday, September 11th. Quite the date. Date.
Yep, September 11th.
September 11th.
Hearts and minds going out to those who lost loved ones and lost their lives. 23 odd years ago.
Man, was it that long?
Yeah, bro. I remember that day vividly too.
So many lifetimes.
Lifetimes
of mine has happened since then.
But quite honestly, I've been had a conversation with a friend over the weekend, and he kind of said something that resonated. It was like, man, he was like, the world, it just seems like society, especially American society, the world hasn't really been. It's like we've been in the twilight zone since 2000. And
every generation can say that, bro.
Man.
I'm more put them in a spin.
True.
I'm sure World War I did too, and two.
True. Twilight Zone.
Yeah, we're constantly living in Twilight Zone. Good morning, Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning, everyone.
Hey,
appreciate you coming in. Marlon Harrison says good morning, First Guy fam. Man, appreciate your putting some stuff in Friends of First Guy Omaha on the incident yesterday.
The activity, thank you.
Yes, Sue Kessler Hagen gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate it. If you're just joining us, that we get our hellos and how you doings on the first 10 minutes before the show starts, 7:00 on the dot. We get started with the news, and there's definitely lots to talk about in the news today. Stuff that's happened. I'm gonna try really hard not to do too much talking about this debate.
Yeah, and you see how I set up the clock. I saved this for the second hour for you, so it's a lot more. There's a lot more stuff to talk about.
Talking about Twilight Zone. Talking about trying to watch that.
Man.
I wouldn't. Trump is like a kid, man. I want to take my belt off and he just needs a whooping. It's like a little kid.
Really?
I can't stand it. Somebody said that in the chat too. I think Amy H. Can't stand listening to him. Can't stand it. I couldn't stand the whole thing, to be honest, man. Both of them was on my nerves. But is what it is. It's the time we living in. I guess we'll see how much the people want to talk about it. And definitely talk about it in the second hour more.
Yeah. I'm seeing and paying attention to how much you gonna talk about it. I know you saying you don't want to, but it's obviously on your mind.
Yeah,
obviously on your mind.
Well, I mean, how could it not be? You know what I'm saying? And in that way, that the irritating things that's going on in life is on your mind.
Actually, that does kind of bring in, remind me how I wanted to start the show, man. Like between the debate and a couple of the incidents that happened yesterday in the city, man. Are y'all okay? Like, are we okay? Are we okay? I saw a few people post on social media, like, man, a lot of people just feeling for the city. Like, it seems like it's a vibe in the city that's like down, somber.
Yeah.
Are we okay? Do we is today like a mental health day? Yeah, and man, speaking of that, Rome's review, top of the morning to you, brother. He says, I didn't watch and my mental space is at peace with that.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Yes, it's definitely a good day to check on each other's mental. Are we okay?
A lot of
How
people
y'all
chose
doing?
peace and not watched it.
Man. So yeah, that's what this whole 10 minutes of the beginning of the show is for, kind of us catching a temperature for each other. Like, are we okay? How y'all doing? Let
Yeah.
us know. Let us know how you feeling.
Yeah, man. I was saying last night on the post, yeah, I'm ready to change the whole format of the show. Let's talk about music. Here's Mark Manner in the
Man.
chat saying, "Good morning."
Yeah. I see you. I got some new finds at the shop, the
Yeah,
record
man.
store.
Yeah, bro. Get down to Homer's, get your record collection right. That's
Yeah,
really real. Rome's review says shoulders a little slumped because of the weight of the community. Most def.
man.
We got to definitely speak on what happened at Northwest High yesterday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Yeah, man.
and also there's an incident apparently at MCC that we have to dive into.
Mm,
No, I don't know if anyone heard about that, but yeah,
yep.
been some rumblings.
Christine Molak, I'm gonna try it one time.
Nice beer.
Dinesbeer, okay. Christine Malak,
It's a new
Dinesbeer.
name.
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah, nice name. Definitely keeping my peace last night. I hear that.
Okay. So does that mean you did not watch?
Yeah, oh, yeah. What did you do to keep your peace? That's a good
Right,
question.
right, right.
Sue Kessler Hagen says I started to watch, but just couldn't handle it, so turned it off.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I kind of treated it more so like background noise. I had it on while I cooked for the babies and got them in bed
Ooh,
and did
subjecting
some
your
work.
babies to that?
Huh?
You
Oh,
said,
no. It was in my studio. They
oh,
was
okay,
watching a
okay.
movie or playing or something. Yeah, I think they was watching Shark Tale. But yeah, yeah, watching a lot better entertainment. I'll say that. Um, but yeah, kind of treated it as a background noise. Missed like the first 15 minutes. Missed the handshake and all that. But
Mhm.
yeah, did y'all watch? Yep, Chrisanne
Same
says she did
thing,
not
man.
watch.
I kinda had it on. I had to halfway watch it. I had to halfway have it low and do something else and not look at it all the way and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't deal. Heather Williams gives us a good morning, everyone. Appreciate you.
Top of the morning to
Christina
you.
said, did not watch. I heard that. Michelle Moreno says, I did watch.
Okay.
Shout out to you, also, Michelle Moreno. You've been posting some stuff in Prison for Sky Omaha. You've been boost to the roots on the scene uh,
Yeah.
for some of the things that's been going on this past week. So that's what's up. Yeah, there is a little
Engagement.
bit of somber attitude happening. You're right. There's a little bit of there's a little bit of temperature in the city. Is like, man, can we get a break?
Man. Yeah.
We
And
had the
then
shooting of the unarmed man in his house
last week we lost Jaden
rally.
Earl Jones, man. Are you
Yeah.
okay? Are we okay?
Yep. He did say the immigrants are eating our pets. That was one of the standouts, and of course, John Stewart. Everybody already went in on this one, on that one. Yeah, man, hot mess, and it's what kills me is how unavoidable it all is. Sometimes, like we really do. It is really kind of unavoidable sometimes to when this stuff is on. Everybody, I heard somebody on the news last week say the debate that nobody's going to be able to ignore, and
Mhm.
he was right. He's right. But yeah, so many more things going on, especially in local politics. Than we can easily make this race be about the presidential race, but there's so much more going on. Ballot initiatives and all kinds of stuff that we need to be voting on. So we're going to be trying to bring some of that to the fore.
Yeah.
We got a special guest on, Lance Fritz, that wants to come on and rally for some. So it'll be a good debate for that. I hope you guys stick around for that conversation. It'll be happening soon, and then yeah, we'll have to go in and talk about all the rest of the things that's happening around here. So appreciate everybody who's getting up early this morning. Mark Manner said it did not. It did give me some comfort. What was that? He said I watched and was looking forward to it, as I wanted to give me a little comfort, as I still think that Trump will win, and that is the end of America. Hmm.
Mm.
I said it before. I think Kamala's gonna have it. I think she got it. I think I think she's the one that's gonna win, and if that's not my hopes and wishes and prayers saying that. That's
This observation.
taking the temperature observation, right? We'll do some more observation discussion and everything else coming up. Pops gives us a good morning first, guy. Good
Hey.
morning. And we'll start the show, man. It's time to jump into this news. So much going on right here. It's happening. It's all happening now. It's 7 o'clock right now. If you believe in the concept of time, fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning,
Happening now.
let's start the show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Get ready to chime in. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He is Buddy the God.
Hey.
And we're talking to you, the chat chimers, the ghost listeners, and the monitoring spirits
Yeah,
that
man.
are tuned in this morning for the show. We appreciate you joining us on this Wednesday, September 11th. That date does evoke a whole lot of memories, a whole lot of feelings and thoughts
Yeah.
for what happened September 11th. I think it was 2001. I can't believe it's been that many years ago.
Man, 23 years.
Insane. We do have a special guest coming in today, Lance Fritz. We'll tell you a little bit more about him coming up, but he's going to talk to us a little bit about some of these ballot initiatives because there's more things to vote on in November than just the presidential election. But we will speak on a lot of these items coming up. We encourage you to share the show on your page. Do that so we can get as many voices in as we can and have a deeper discussion about what's going on in our world and our news and headlines, reading between the lines of some of the news headlines that are out there right now, and figuring out what we need to do to get to some action on some of these items as well. So we appreciate everybody who has been a regular in joining in this conversation with us. All the regulars, all the chat chimers, we really appreciate you guys. And we really appreciate the ghost listeners always spreading the word around the city as well that this is going on, this work that we're trying to do here with the news
Man,
and this outreach discussion with you, the people. So
thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. In the meantime, between time, we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Buddy. What's going on in the community, my brother?
Hey, yes. Again, if this is your first time listening, welcome to First Guy Omaha in the morning. And we like to kick off our mornings with some community news, some shout outs, some headlines, and some things that you might not see in your mainstream news, but is headlines to us in our communities. So again, big shout out to all of those in the community. And yeah, in light of the events over the beginning of this week, man, check in on your loved ones. Are you okay? Are you okay? Maybe take some time to go look at some art. The Jocelyn has just reopened after years of construction, and making actually national headlines for that. So yeah, if you want to decompress, maybe take a break from all this political talk, all this gun violence in the community, maybe go soak up some art. Check out the
Really
Jocelyn just reopened.
love it.
Also, yeah, man. Yeah. Also, big shout out to the Empowerment Network. They will be having their Black Leadership Conference coming up, and they're making a return with our brother E-18, the hip hop preacher, brother Eric Thomas. If you don't know about him, maybe you've heard about some of his more infamous speeches. You got to want success as bad as you want to breathe. Yeah, that's him. That's him. For those who checked him out over the summer at the first conference, definitely, might want to get your tickets for this next one coming up. Big shout out to brother Willie Barney and the Empowerment Network, learning more about the work that they're doing. And I'm very excited, very excited to team up and get more involved with the work they're doing with Black businesses, with the youth. Yeah, shout out to the Empowerment Network. Also, Wakanda One, speaking of shout outs, Wakanda One, local band, local group, brother Shamari, there will be opening for Robert Glasper. That's nothing small, man. If you don't know about Robert Glasper, yeah, he's that guy. He's that guy. You probably heard his influence and didn't even know it.
Yeah, man.
Legend. Yeah, legend. And he will be making his way to Omaha, Holland Performing Arts, September 27th. Still time to get your tickets. Big shout out to also our partners at Omaha Performing Arts. Yeah, they've been doing the thing, man. I think they got Juvenile coming up a little later on. Some
Oh,
more
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So,
We're riding the Jag, yeah, with that.
man, all right. But yeah, in the meantime, between time, big shout out to Wakanda One, the official curtain warmer for Robert Glasper, man.
That's
So yeah,
what's up.
definitely check that out. If you're in the Lincoln area or will be making your way to the Lincoln area, definitely shout out to our community out there. Students chiming up and really stepping up. There will be a UNL Office of Diversity and Inclusion Town Hall. If you remember, a month ago or so, that office was closed to a lot of people's surprise and a lot of people kind of upset about the situation. And it looks like they're not letting it go by the wayside. So again, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion will be having a town hall, or UNL will be having a town hall about the office and its closure. So again, if that's something that interests you, a lot of people, were kind of chiming up about that. Here's the opportunity to let your voice be heard officially and maybe even have an impact on that situation. Speaking of impact, big shout out to the Union for Contemporary Art. They will be rolling out a new program as well. It's called the Community Impact and Engagement Project. Also, Voices and Vision. They're all a part of the Union's strategic plan. The initiative aims to foster deep, meaningful connections with the community through a series of public engagement and outreach activities. The project will begin with community surveys and online polls to gather feedback on the union's programs and services. There's been some conversations, some rumblings, even a few points of controversy surrounding the union. If you remember a few years ago, there was that incident outside the window. But it looks like they're trying to engage with the public a little more, engage with the community even more. So again, if you have any ideas, any things that you would like to see, or just want to learn more about what the union is doing, here's the opportunity to do so. So definitely check them out on their website to fill out that survey. Again, that's u-ca.org. Again, that's u-ca.org/voices and vision if you're interested.
Word.
Yep. And in other news, before we get out of here, I definitely want to first of all give a shout out to Idle Vital opening their second location. I'm not sure if it's open for operation just yet, but definitely look out for that, man. Idle Vital. If you don't know, what's wrong with you? Man, one of the best juice shops, man. You don't need Orange Julius. You don't need none of that.
No, we still need Orange Julius. But
But definitely add Idle Vital to that list, man. Definitely
yeah,
looking forward to the opening of their second location. And before we get out of here, I do want to give a few condolences and prayers out there. First of all, brother Lavelle Wells, or Wells Lavelle, his mother seems to be dealing with some health issues. So again, he's asking for prayers. And just if you know him personally, maybe reach out, give him some uplifting words. Definitely dealing with this situation, and hopefully, praying for, if you're a prayer, or praying for a speedy recovery for his mother.
if you know
And
her, she's a powerhouse. So we
man, big
we
time.
want her back around.
Yeah, man. And then we kind of joke about Mayor Stalter leaving the town and going to and fro from Omaha, but it looks like she will be making a trip up to Illinois for a very valid reason. We joke and laugh and things like that, but definitely want to send condolences to Mayor Jean Stalter, who just lost her mother. Her brother passed, and again, there will be a service for her coming up
It's
in the
Mildred
next few
Janice
days.
Wolf.
Yep. So thank you. Again, what was her name?
Mildred Janice Wolf.
There you go. There
Mary
you go.
Jean Stother's mom just passed. So
Yeah,
condolences
man.
to her and the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. So whether you agree or disagree with her politics, I can't imagine losing a mother, man. So heart and condolences goes out to Mayor Jean Stalter, and also heart and condolences to wrap up goes out to the family of brother James Earl Jones.
It was a
Rest
tough
in
one.
peace. Yeah, man.
It
Rest in
was a tough
peace,
one.
man. Yeah, a legend in his own right. So
Not even any words, man. Everybody, I mean, that's just been on social media here for the past for the the past couple of days here. It's just all the clips, all the ways, the voice you've been hearing all your life. The powerhouse of a man and a consummate actor, and just yeah, it's a tough one when you start losing. This is like an icon of the generation.
man,
Uh, when that happens, that's real rough. So yeah, man, condolences to the family.
man, hero and a villain.
Man,
Think
full
about it.
full range, full
Yeah,
range.
man. Yeah. Quite the legend. Quite the legend. So yeah, man. Rest in peace to the great man. He lived well, left quite the legacy. And yeah. Hopefully you can pull something from his life. But
Really?
yeah, that does it for our community updates. As always, you can stay tapped in with everything going on with the fam and with First Guy Omaha with our weekly rap newsletter. We still have that going on. Again, a lot of people responding to that quite positively. So if you have not already signed up for that, make sure you go ahead and do so. The weekly rap newsletter coming at you every Friday, and it's just a part of a lot of the things that we have rolling out. Very excited for you all to see that. So again, big shout out to those of you who have already tapped in, and if you haven't, check us out. Also, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Again, we are trying to grow that community. Big shout out to those of you who have already joined our Friends of First Guy Omaha group page. But come over to YouTube. There's some other things happening over at YouTube. There will be some other content, some other things that we'll be rolling out in the tail end of this year, going into next year. And yeah, we want you to check it out. We want you to be on top of it. And yeah, help us help you. So again, make sure you like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Hit that like button, click that notification bell so you know when we pop up and we drop things. In the meantime, between time, Paul B, what's
Yo,
the
yo.
word? What's the word?
Man, I was just trying to look and see where Idle Vital's new spot is.
Yeah, I haven't seen. She just
Yeah,
posted the picture with the keys.
I saw it somewhere, and now of course I can't find it now that I'm looking at it, but we'll get that and post that in Friends of First Guy Omaha. I believe I remember reading that she's going to be keeping the spot on 24th.
Yep.
So this is an additional spot that's happening. I think it's midtown or somewhere. I have to go back and look. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I
but
did see a location, but
yeah, we'll get that and have that. I'd love to have her on too. We've been thinking about trying to have her on for a while, just
man,
to talk about how she's navigating the DED situation and trying to grow business and everything that goes on with her. So a pretty dynamic young sister that owns this spot, and I got to tell you, Idle Vital is one of them spots I got to hit at least 3-4 times a week.
man.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of
Yeah,
those necessaries. And
yeah.
if it ain't open and you can't get it, there's no substitute.
No, it's not. It's not. And also, she got a little food too, man. One of the only places you can get a proper beef patty in the
Yeah.
hood.
I haven't had that one yet.
Yeah, check. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You got some nice beef patties.
that's what's up. Appreciate everybody that's jumping in the chat. Mark Manor will find that second location.
Yeah,
Anthony Rogers Rice says, "May all black men get to live as long as him. He's the greatest of all time for sure." Appreciate
man.
that. Also, Tony Johnson said he met James L. Jones at the NAACP convention in the '80s. Powerful voice and words. Yeah, for sure. Rose Review says, "I don't mourn when celebrities pass. This one just hit a little bit. Yeah, it definitely did."
Man.
Marlon Harrison is saying it's crazy how today's youth is learning about 9/11 is a historical event. The fact that it was 24 years ago, man, insane.
Man, there's people driving around that don't know.
Yeah, it's a trip. Driving people that rolling around with kids that wasn't here when it happened.
Man.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are happening, we got news coming up as well. There's a lot going on in the news, and we'll be talking about that as well. And stay tuned if you're just joining us. We have special guests coming in. Lance Fritz will be in the
Mhm.
house. We'll tell you more about him and then some of the ballot initiatives that he's going to come and speak on as well. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, between time, what's happening in the headlines, buddy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, of course, we have to talk about the tragedy that went down at Northwest. Luckily, apparently, to reports, does look like the young man that was shot will be making a recovery. So, again, the shooting at Northwest, leaving still a lot of people devastated, a lot of people traumatized, and I definitely want to talk about that. Also, there's apparently an incident that went down at MCC as well that led to Metro Community College's South Omaha campus being shut down and an alert being sent out to students there as well. So I want to talk about that. Also, Don Klein declines. Again, we spoke to Senator Terrell McKinney on Monday, who issued a call for a special prosecutor in the case of the shooting death of Brother Cameron Ford. However, on Monday, Don Klein wasted no time to decline that call. So we'll dive into that, what that means, what the forward progression of that case will look like. Also, speaking of forward progression, we are moving just 56 days, just actually now possibly 55 days away from the election. But as Paul has been mentioning, there's more than just the presidential race at stake. Several ballot initiatives actually making their way to the Supreme Court to see if they will make their way to the ballot in November. School choice still a heavy topic. Again, a lot of conversation here on the show about that. And then also abortion in the light of the repeal of Roe v. Wade. Abortion still a heavy topic of discussion locally and nationally something definitely that will stem and direct, where this election goes. Also, speaking of stemming and directing where the election goes, a national spotlight is being placed on the blue dot. Apparently, there's been a wave of blue dot signs popping up in the community. And yeah, a lot of conversation here about the Democratic Party and what this means for the blue dot. And on the heels of the debate, how do we feel? What are your thoughts about the blue dot? Definitely want to dive into that. And then also several other stories popping out on the news. Apparently, the state auditor is questioning TIF use. Also, alternative candidates on the ballot in Nebraska. And of course, as Paul mentioned, Lance Fritz, formerly of Union Pacific and also on the board of Luminarium, coming to speak to us about a few other bond issues that will be making their way to the ballot as well. So again, all that and more throughout the show. As always, if there's anything on your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, feel free to drop that into the chat. As always, let your minds be free, let your voice be heard. Of course, here in season 1B, we like to save most of the discussion in the second hour. So yeah, let us know how you're feeling. Let us know what's on your mind. In the meantime, between time, Paul B,
Yo.
what's the word?
Let's take a quick break and come back and jump into some news. Appreciate everybody that's joining us this morning. Again, we got special guests coming on, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, between time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy the God. Stay tuned. Be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
It is Wednesday, September 11th, and it's one of those dates that always, when it comes up, conjures up a lot of memories for those of us old enough to remember what happened on this day, and it's always the memory of people that were lost and the people that you knew that were lost. I'm of that generation, and I had a lot of friends that did know some people that were lost on that day. So it's always a tough time, and you're right. Kind of feels like the Twilight Zone ever since then. But every era got a Twilight Zone. I feel like we're in a Twilight Zone now, to be real.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody that's coming on in to the chat as well. We will definitely welcome your comments during the news broadcast in this hour, but we will definitely dive in some more about more discussion past the 8 o'clock hour. So we hope that you guys stick with us then on the second hour, First Sky Omaha in the morning. And the thing about the chat, the debate that happened last night that everybody has been kind of talking about. I've been getting texts and emails and stuff all night last night, all this morning. Of course, people sending over memes. There's a whole lot of social media memes going on. Marlon Harrison said he's been cracking up at some of the social media that's been going on. So this is definitely obviously some stuff that people want to talk about and get into. We'll definitely get into that in the second hour. But in the meantime, between time, appreciate everybody joining us, and we will jump into it. And buddy, what's first on the agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to start off with an update of a story that we've been.
I'm sorry. Before you start, Candace Price came in and gave us the new location for Idle Vital,
Okay,
76 in Cass. Thank you. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah, check them out. But yes, again, I like to start off the news portion of the show with a story that we've been paying close attention to, been following, and been feeling the effects in the community, talking about the shooting death of Brother Cameron Ford at the hands of Omaha police. Again, we spoke to Senator Terrell McKinney on Monday, who has been in headlines calling for the special prosecutor or a special prosecutor to oversee the grand jury process of this whole legal proceedings, if you will. And it looks like Don Klein wasted no time to respond to that call. KMTV3 reports Don Klein, despite calls for a special prosecutor, says absolutely not. Douglas County Attorney Don Klein says he will not appoint a special prosecutor in the case involving the OPD officer who shot and killed unarmed Cameron Ford just a couple of weeks ago. And he says, I don't know why I would. I have a job to do, and that's my responsibility. Of course, State Senator Terrell McKinney, who called for the special prosecutor, says that he's not ever really surprised by what Don Klein does. And quite honestly, neither am I. Again, we spoke to Senator McKinney on Monday, who tipped us off and said that ultimately it is Don Klein's decision. It rests on him whether or not a special prosecutor will be brought in to this case. We've seen that happened before. Again, a special prosecutor was brought in the case of brother Skurlock, James Skurlock, and apparently that was an exception because we haven't really seen many other special prosecutors brought in over grand jury incidents.
Mm,
Although there has been several other grand juries as a result of police shootings. Again, the law requires there to be a grand jury process when there is an officer involved shooting. However, Don Klein again ultimately has a decision what prosecutor oversees that process. When reporters asked Klein on Thursday about appointing a special prosecutor for this case, he also said he wouldn't. So again, he has been standing on business in that regard, if you will. Klein also said Thursday that I don't know why I would. I have a job to do. That's my responsibility, and so I'm not going to put it off on somebody else. Again, in response, Senator McKinney said, I hope that Douglas County Attorney Don Klein decides to appoint a special prosecutor. I hope that the police department decides to ban no knock warrants. So, right now, again, we have hope and we have to see how this whole grand jury process plays out. But if any of the reports and statements that we received from Don Klein as of late as any indication, I think we can all assume how this grand jury is going to play out. Again, with Don Klein overseeing the proceedings, he has control of what evidence the grand jury sees, how they see it, and again, that could sway the thing. So here we are, still looking at the situation, still paying attention, still watching, still waiting. There is still some things that we can do. Again, I believe Brother Anthony Rogers right reminding us. He's even saying it in the chat now. There is a process to recall Don Klein. I believe 40,000 votes. He said needed to recall Don Klein. Is that an effort worth undertaking? I don't know. Paul, what say you?
yeah, just like people are saying in the chat, RG in the chat is saying that's the thing. This man is not doing his job.
Mhm.
Rose Reviews is saying how could Don Swine come to that conclusion so fast when the public can't get details for weeks sometimes. We all know that we talked about the body cam footage and how the main body cam from the shooter was blocked by a shield. And then the question was, well, everybody else that entered the house was wearing the body cam. What's going on there? No clear answers on anything. So how is he coming to conclusions that he is? It's really unfortunate that we got to feel this way every time something like this happens. Sue Kessler Hagen is saying Klein should not be the one to decide this issue. Also, if he is so sure he made the right decision, why is he so adamant that no one else look into the decision? Good question.
Mhm.
Also, Mama Guy says I don't think anything else is going to happen without crump like pressure.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Mm. Shout out.
where's
Yeah, shout out to my fellow rattler, Ben Crump.
yeah, man,
Yeah,
where's
yeah,
Ben
yeah.
Crump at? Because we did say the other day, somebody was like, "I'm surprised this didn't make national news." It did make national news.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yeah.
national news now. So each iteration of this is going to be a national situation as well. Even this decision by Don Klein. So yeah, I don't understand how they can just go against the law like that. Like it's kind of amazing to me. Um, Appreciate everybody's comments in there. Tony Johnson says might wind up getting somebody more extreme and worse. Yeah, definitely have to have a plan of who to put in that seat if we did go that route of
Mhm.
trying to recall Don Klein. That's definitely sure. Senator Terrell McKinney was on the show Monday saying the other people in the office he didn't really trust either. The other people standing there right next to Don Klein that would
Yeah.
probably go for that seat if it was open.
Yeah,
So
and again, if you remember, we had opportunity to kind of dictate where that was, but there wasn't a lot of votes in regards to Brother Dave Fontos. Again, he challenged Don Klein, and yet here we are again having to wait till 27, I believe, for another opportunity to elect. So in the meantime, between time, yeah, it does seem like a recall is our only option. It is interesting though, with a lot of people saying as far as how this whole grand jury will play out and Don Klein not really doing his job. uh It says Senator McKinney spoke with Channel 3. He says nothing he does really ever really surprises me. I don't think he actually works for the people, Senator McKinney said, which is very interesting. And it does seem like a lot of the times when Don Klein makes a decision, it is lock and step with the police. And, again, who's going to hold the police accountable if that's the case? Are the police ever going to be held accountable if that's the case? But it is interesting what Don Klein is saying about why he will not choose a special prosecutor for this. Again, he is saying it's his job, but he says, while I think anybody that knows the law and looks at this case in its entirety will find the same way I have found, this is his response to a question of whether or not the grand jury would decide the same way that he has decided the case. Again, saying anybody that knows law should come to the same conclusion that he came to, which has me feeling like, then why not put in a special prosecutor? If you feel like anybody who knows law, you know what I mean? Why do you have to oversee it? Where is the transparency? So here we are. Here we are.
Yep. About the recall effort, Anthony Rogers right in the chat says organize. It's an organizing effort. We cannot let fear guide anything. They will never let go of their power until we let go of our fear. Recalling him would get way more national attention than the situation is getting right now.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely something to consider. And if anybody is on that tip of trying to get something like that organized, definitely let us know. We'll spread the word in a real way.
Yeah, man. And it's not just recalling him, but who are we going to get to step up in his position? Who are we going to get to replace him? Succession planning is also a big part of this. So, yeah, let's talk. Let's continue to, let that swim in our brains.
Most deaf. 7:26 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, that is. Buddy, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah. So again, definitely want to dive into this whole shooting at Northwest situation. Again, the community is still reeling, man, and the Don Klein situation, as you mentioned, is kind of compounding with this. Again, people still impacted by the death of Brother Cameron Ford. Actually, finding out that some of his family members are close to my family. Family friends. Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of the case. That's kind of the case in a community like Omaha, so small, so close knit, that we're all impacted by these situations. And again, this is no different. Even from Atlanta, when I got the call about Northwest, the shooting at Northwest, I went into immediate panic mode. Again, my mom does not live very far from Northwest, and apparently the suspect who was responsible for the shooting was found outside of the school. So he was in the community at large somewhere. I believe they captured him on 80th. But again, a lot to unpack with this situation. The facts, according to KETV, again, Omaha police responded to a shooting that injured a teenager at Northwest High School. Police said the shooting happened inside the school around 12:23. Officials confirmed the school located near 82nd and Crown Point was placed on lockdown. There are actually several other schools in the area, ranging from elementary, middle schools, even a few private schools. I believe Ron Colley was also put on lockdown. Now, Omaha police did confirm a 15-year-old boy was critically injured and rushed to the hospitals. Again, authorities are saying that he is now stable, so no deaths in this incident, but still a lot of trauma from this, a lot of fear from this, and a lot of questions from this. Authorities said it is believed to be an isolated event between two individuals, not necessarily like a mass event that just recently happened down here in the Atlanta area, and the victim was targeted by the suspect. Omaha police said the suspect discarded the gun somewhere, and if anyone finds it, to call 911 immediately. It is being reported that they believe they have the firearm, but they are still asking the public to keep an eye out for evidence in that area. Again, Marianne High School, Ron Colley, and several other schools were also locked down as a result of this. So it does look like students at Northwest will not be returning to school today, kind of taking a day to decompress, to set up therapy. A lot of families have already reported that they're doing that. If you have any loved ones that go to Northwest, any little cousins, brothers, sisters, family, friends, definitely reach out. And yeah, man, this is a time for us to check on each other.
Shout out to oh, I'm sorry, I put the wrong picture up. Shout out to the Omaha scanner, which I thought was down but is back.
Hmm.
They actually came with some photos of some stuff that's going on that was happening in the day on the day of. And shout out to Marlon Harrison for putting that in Friends of First Sky Omaha group
Hmm.
page, and just kind of showing what was going on. They made it a really big point to say that this was not a mass shooting. This was an isolated incident. It was They keep reiterating that in order to try to make sure that everybody, we're so used to hearing, oh, there's a shooting at a school. Okay, well, everybody is in trouble, everybody's in danger. They try to make it a real point to say this was an incident between two students. So it seems so far in the investigation that it's
Mhm.
an isolated incident. So yeah, but yeah, it's like you said, it's such a close knit community here that it's you're gonna know somebody. Everybody's calling everybody as soon as it happened. They're calling everybody because your family's around, like you said, family's close. You don't know whose kids are where and what's going on there, and it's in all schools gonna be locked down. What's going on? And so it's a sense there's a sense of chaos that really happens when something like this goes down, and I just very interested in the way that they presented this and really try to make sure everybody understood it was an isolated incident. There's not a mass shooter, that type of thing. So interesting. Sue Kessler Hagen in the chat says he was captured within a couple of houses of a couple of houses of my daughter's house, a couple of houses down probably.
Mhm.
Before he was caught, her dogs were in the backyard barking. So she went back. She went to check, and thought though she didn't know what at the time she saw the young man in her neighbors walking out of the neighbor's backyard. Too close for comfort for this mama, but I'm glad she was safe.
Man.
Like you said, there you go. Chad Chimer right there that whose daughter saw the actual situation is that close. Tony Johnson is calling again for our community leaders, saying reach out to community leaders and elected to inquire why. No response. Tony Johnson, you really reiterate all the time about the response that we're supposed to be getting from our elected officials a lot. I think maybe we should put some kind of little coalition together to call our elected officials and try to get some statements. Because you bring that up every time something happens, and yeah, it's important that our elected officials say something on these things, of course, but we can't keep on just saying, "Hey, they're not talking." Let's if we're going to reach out, let's reach out. They probably should be reaching out to us, to your point, but we can also be reaching out as well.
Mhm.
He's saying communication with our community is important, even if it's just giving condolences or saying you are aware. If our elected officials don't do it, we're here to do it for each other. So that's
Mhm.
what we're here for as well. Any further than that, then yeah, I think we ought to call and see what they have to say on these things. And if any elected officials are listening, be great if you would make a statement on some of these things. Preston Love actually has been putting a lot of press releases out. He makes
Mm.
statements on a lot of things that goes on all the time. Just doesn't really get covered by the mass media all the time for that. So
Yeah.
I will definitely start pulling some of those press releases that I get sent in on these incidents, and can state what Brother Love says on those things. And then, like I said, we can also reach out to them as well. So appreciate that. And also, like Terrell McKinney, Senator Terrell McKinney said, let's not put all our faith in politicians. This is
Man.
us doing what we need to do, and sending condolences to the family and reaching out to the family. We always have that happen with us, with our team. There's always somebody on the Chad Chimer side or the Ghost Listener side that knows the family, that reaches out to the family. Shout out to Sherman Wells, who's often meeting with the families that of
Mhm.
stuff that happens. So yeah, we're gonna take care of each other for sure.
And also, Sister Tamika Meese, who works, NOCP,
Man,
works directly with families, and especially in incidents like this of violence, families have to move, families have to, pay for hospital bills. There are a lot of things that we don't think about that are kind of ripple effects from these types of incidents. And there are people in the community, not just politicians, who are actually boots to the roots doing things. So let's give them some shine as well. And, not necessarily focus on who's not doing what, but who is doing what. Let's support them.
well, Steph, last comment. Anthony Rogers writes his comment. Tony has a point, and I like your idea, Paul. But we're not going to hear from the likes of Tony Vargas. He wants to win more than man. You got a point on Tony Vargas, bro. What? We understand that you got a point on Tony Vargas. What about we got to throw Don Bacon in there? We're gonna hear from Don Bacon on this. Let's bring it all together here. He wants to win more than be here for the community, which is why he's going to lose. Okay. Um, I appreciate your opinion on these things, man. But like I said, I think I feel like there's a lot of you made a comment one time that if we're gonna say something about one side, let's say it about the other side. Let's have more discussion about everybody who's not reaching out, not doing nothing for the community too on all sides. I realize that you got some fire for the Democratic Party right now, but the Republican Party is tripping too. Let's not forget that. Marlon Harrison says, I know people have been talking about how it's time OPS and other school districts around need to implement airport security in our schools. That don't sound good. I
Yeah.
also, we also got to remember they be talking about trying to arm teachers too.
Yeah.
That's in the debate as well.
Yeah. And to clarify, I kind of saw Brother Marlon post about that yesterday. And by airport security, you're meaning like metal detectors, body scans, things like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's what do y'all feel about that? Whew. That's
Man,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I went to schools in LA that was doing that. I mean, not LA, in San Bernardino that was doing that in California, early on. So,
Mhm.
I kind of remember what that felt like. So I kind of didn't know it didn't exist anymore, but I guess it didn't here. So that would be a new thing if they started that.
Yeah, yeah. OPS schools do not have that. I think now they just have the buzzers at the doors, so the doors are locked. But as far as security measures, body scanners, metal detectors, things like that, not the case. That was down here in Atlanta and other areas around the nation. And
Right.
unfortunately, that's just where we are. That's kind of where my mind goes is to the trauma of these students. And, I just couldn't imagine having to go to school and consider the possibility of, somebody like so schools are supposed to be safe, man. And
Stuff stuff gets normalized though, bro.
but the
They
wrong
implement.
things are getting normalized.
Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it before. I've seen it implement stuff like that, and the next thing you know, you just taking your bag off, your jacket off, just like at the airport. So
Man,
it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it also is like something that happens a lot and gets normalized. And would that help?
no. But more so I'm thinking of just the overall just the shootings that happened over the weekend in Lincoln, the shootings that happened over the weekend in Omaha, brother Cameron Ford getting killed. Like this gun culture is different. Like I grew up playing with Nerf guns and being enamored with paintball guns and having GI Joe figures. Like I grew up in gun culture, but this feels different. Like everybody has a gun.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's that's how I feel about it. It's scary. It's scary that no matter what, then somebody gonna have a gun, young or old. It's
man,
ridiculous.
man,
Pop says 25 or 30 years ago, Brooke went to school at Mount Vernon, New York, and she had to go through metal detectors every day. Yeah,
mm,
think about Joe Clark and then welcome to the
yeah,
jungle.
yeah.
Anthony Rogers, right before we go to a break, real quick, says
Mhm.
in response to me, says, shouldn't we have a higher standard for Vargas than Bacon? Isn't that the point? Bacon has been in the community more than Vargas. BAA can confirm this. No, I don't think we should have a higher standard for Vargas than we do Bacon. I think we should have a high standard for both of them. And Bacon is the elected official. He's the one that is that he better be in the community. I think they both need a higher standard for sure. And I don't
Mhm.
think that the stuff that Don Bacon is voting on is in our best interest at all either. We don't really go in on that much,
His
but
votes.
yeah, but we've had him on the show several times back in the Mine and Soul days, and had some conversations with him too. And of course, that he be always over there on 95.7 The Boss. So we hear from him all the time too, and don't really agree, and feel like he needs to be held to a higher standard as well. So I understand what you're saying, and yes, there's some scrutiny there we got to look at because Vargas is running, but we also got to remember Bacon. He's running against Bacon. I think he got a good chance, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so and so both of them need to be held up, I believe. So that's what's up. Heather Williams asking what led up to the situation. I'm not really sure. They
Nobody
said it was a
knows.
personal thing, as
Mhm.
far as the shooting is concerned. They made it a point to say this was not a mass shooting. This was an isolated incident between two students. So the investigation goes on, and I guess we'll find out in some time what led up to it. Who knows? Meantime, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and jump into our final story before we get to our special guest. Stay tuned
Mhm.
for a special guest,
Oh,
Lance Fritz. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Just one last thing on this. Big shout out to Marlon Harrison for dropping this and friends of. If you want to speak more on this and kind of get into the thick of the conversation, the next Omaha Public Schools board meeting is September 16th, 2024, from 6 to 7 at the TAC building. That's 3215 Cumming Street. Again, the next school board meeting is the 16th from 6 to 7 at the TAC building, 3215 Cumming Street. Again, brother Marlon Harrison, who works in OPS, is urging urging people to come out and voice your concerns about the shooting at Northwest High School. So
We know
yeah,
Kimber's gonna be there.
there you go. Hopefully she be on the board. we man need some help. Need some help
For real. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Stay tuned. Don't you go nowhere.
Don't touch nothing.
Don't touch nothing. Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. I really appreciate everybody jumping in the chat, and we will definitely jump into some deeper discussion past the 8 o'clock hour, which is coming up here shortly. So thank you guys for hanging in there and chiming into the chat. Share the show, spread it put it on your page if you would, in order to get it to as many people as we can. We get as many voices in, and different voices, different opinions, more information, and more discussion. And so, yeah, highly encourage you guys to do that, and appreciate everybody that's done so thus far. It is 7:41 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we have a special guest coming in shortly. And before we get to that, Buddy, what do we want to jump in here before our guest comes through?
Yeah, well, teeing up about the conversation that we will be having with our guests in regards to some of the ballot initiatives and things that will be going to the ballot that aren't necessarily a political races, but the people have an opportunity to vote directly on some issues, have your voices be heard. But at least if the Supreme Court doesn't decide otherwise, especially on a few top high level conversations that we've had here on the show, especially looking at what's going on with the school choice situation. Apparently, the Nebraska Supreme Court will be the deciding factor in whether a voter referendum seeking a partial repeal of the private school scholarship law will make its way to the ballot in November. Talking about LB 1402, which was approved earlier this year and it has been, effective in law. But there is an opportunity for voters to strike it down in November. Again, if you remember, the law funnels about $10 million per year to fund scholarships for private and parochial school students. The lawsuit against this alleges that the referendum violates Nebraska's constitution that limits ballot measures from affecting direct state appropriations, essentially saying that voters cannot directly say what the state spends money on, according to this argument. Also, attorney Tom Vinzer, who also serves as executive director of Nebraska Catholic Conference, argued that the referendum's clear intent is to target appropriated funds. So again, the argument in Supreme Court is whether or not the public, the people, the voters, can have a say on exactly where the money goes directly. Justices did note that LB 1402 had a separate appropriation bill that was not targeted by the referendum. However, lawyers did claim that the bills are connected and cannot be separated. So again, whether or not this interpretation goes through, we will possibly see this issue making its way to the ballot in November. And then also abortion. Watch the debate. Abortion will definitely be a huge point of contention in this election, and even in Nebraska, still a huge point of contention, as the issue of abortions will also be making its way to Supreme Court. Again, this may have the opportunity to vote directly on whether or not women in the state of Nebraska will have reproductive rights. But again, justices are hearing several arguments on three separate lawsuits on the issue of abortion. two of the Protect Our Rights initiative, excuse me, off the ballot, and one trying to keep the Protect Women and Children initiative on the ballot. Again, the Protect Women and Children initiative seeks to enshrine a first trimester abortion ban into the Constitution, and the Protect Our Rights initiatives on the ballot are on the ballot together. So again, several heavy topics as far as women's rights, productive rights, abortion rights on the ballot, or possibly making their way to the ballot. So definitely should be paying close attention to what's going on or with these Supreme Court cases. But again, education, school choice, abortion, some topics that we should be looking out for, heavy topics that we should be looking out for on the ballot, in addition to presidential and local state races.
Yeah, it's not just about the presidential races. Very many more things to vote on for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely dive into some of those things and keep talking about it. We have a special guest waiting in the wings, and we'll bring him on to speak on some of those things, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Lance Fritz in the house. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul and Buddy, and thank you for hosting me this morning.
No,
Well,
thanks for joining. Thanks for
thanks,
joining.
thanks for getting up early with us. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
This
sir.
isn't early. Come on, guys. You know that.
Hey, we're a couple of musicians, man. We get up around noon, so this is
Yeah,
early
yeah,
for us.
yeah.
Just want to introduce you to the people, and if you could introduce yourself and let us know where you're from, where you're associated, if you would.
Sure, Paul. So I've been a resident in Omaha for almost 25 years. I used to be with Union Pacific. Actually, I still am. I retired from my biggest job there, which was chairman, president, and CEO of the company. I did that for just about 9 years, and I retired from those roles, last August. So I'm celebrating 1 year of being a little bit freer and able to do the things that I'd like to do.
Nice,
I
nice.
like that's a good thing to celebrate for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but it looks like in retirement you're not, kind of retiring to the golf course. You're still pretty active. I understand that you were just inducted into the Nebraska Business Hall of Fame. You're also a part of the board at Luminarium, and you're actually here to speak to us about some ballot initiatives, some bond issues, and things like that. So, just before we get into those issues, what are you doing currently that kind of brought you to this point?
well, I'm glad you asked, buddy. I am very active in Omaha. It's because I love the community. It's my hometown now. So I'm on the board of the Luminarium. I'm on the board of Nebraska Medicine, which is our big regional medical center. On the board of the zoo, and I'm also just recently joined the board of an outfit called Heritage Services, which is behind a fair amount of the large scale capital projects that have really been transforming Omaha over the course of the last 3 decades or so.
Okay.
Yep, Rachel Jacobson is a good friend of ours over here. So
Good,
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Definitely a friend of first guy. Shout out to Rachel. Nice.
Well, we appreciate that. I wanted just to inform you a little bit about what we got going on here. So we have a chat that we discuss these things with people in the chat. We call them the chat chimers because they're always chiming up in the chat with things to say. Uh, that you're going to be able to see that on your end, but we highly encourage you to ignore it. We'll go ahead and bring in the comments as they come, and if you guys have any questions, then please go ahead and let us know about put it in the chat, and we'll go ahead and let him know about what the questions are. And also, our chat is pretty special chat as well. We've kind of gotten to the point where we have kind of a family of people that come into this chat. It's not kind of just like random. Normally you get on a thing like this and it's just anybody and everybody coming in and saying anything. We actually have some pretty thoughtful people that come through and discuss these things with us on a regular basis. And so we speak to each other as if we speak face to face. And I think we got the best chat in the world because of that.
Yeah,
No
man.
no trolling over here. So
Well,
just to
that's
let
perfect. And it's one of the reasons we wanted to be on your show this morning, which is you
Nice.
have meaningful content. I heard what you were talking about just a few minutes ago. And you have an audience that really cares and is engaged. And my hope today is that they'll learn about these bond initiatives and it'll turn them around so that they become champions in their communities.
Nice.
well,
Nice. Yeah.
Well, appreciate
Yeah.
that. We'll go ahead and jump into those bond
Yeah.
issues. We went through them ourselves. We know that there's probably going to be a little bit of debate on some of these. So just to warn you on beforehand, we know that you guys are pushing for vote yes on all six. Don't know if that's going to be what everybody does here, but we can definitely talk about it. So if you wouldn't mind going ahead and jumping in and let us know where you're coming from with the bond issues.
100%. So let's start with why get engaged. Again, I'm a 25-year resident of the city. There's a committee that we've stood up affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce, and it's all of community leaders, citizens that care deeply about Omaha. And the reason that we're supporting these bonds, there's 6 bonds that'll be on the November ballot. They're nowhere near as controversial as what you were just talking about, I hope. They're things like the money to fund a new police station, a new fire station downtown, or to do major road projects, or to continue to build out our park system with parks and park facilities. There's some infrastructure in there as well. There's money that's going to go towards partially funding an expansion of the CHI Health Center, the convention center downtown. And the question is why? It's to keep the city vibrant and safe and growing like it has been over the past few years. The other thing to note is that the bonds don't have any impact on taxes. This is normal course for a large institution like the city, where they have the authority to float bonds. They float those bonds so that they have money to match project. Then they pay off the bonds, and then those bond authorities have expired. So they need new bond authorities to go through that process again. So this isn't about taxes, it's about matching cash with project. And it also has nothing to do with things like the streetcar. That's not embedded in these bond actions.
Okay. So I heard one a little earlier that you were talking about this funding of a new police station. You said, and that was, it sounded like it was coupled in with some parks funding, other things. So is that one of the bonds? Is that all encompassing those things as far as raising money for, or are they separate issues?
They are actually separate issues. There are 6 bond initiatives that voters will be asked to vote on. One of the bond initiatives has facilities. It's got the police and fire station in it. It's got the ability to expand the convention center in it. There's a separate bond action that is targeted at roads. First, there's one for building out roads. Second, there's one for maintaining and modifying our current roads. And then there's a separate one also for sewers and that kind of spending. And there's a separate one for parks and park facilities.
Got it. Okay. And what brought the organization here to decide that these were the 6 that you wanted to focus on in telling everybody to vote yes for those? What's the major the overall goal here for after these pass and this money comes? What's the reason behind the choosing of these 6?
Yeah. So this is normal course of business, and in the normal course of business, the city's citizens would pass this, overwhelmingly, because it just allows their city government to keep operating. Our concern was usually these kind of initiatives are put on the spring ballot. This year, they're unfortunately going on to the November 5th ballot. As you just highlighted, that ballot has a lot of controversial issues on it. And we don't want these bond initiatives to get lost in the arguments over who's going to be president, who has rights over women's health, who has, the ability to fund education. Those things can get a voter riled up and either not show up to vote or show up to vote in a particular mindset. And we want that mindset to include, hey, these are bonds for the health of your city. They'll make your city healthier, safer, more vibrant and growing. And they'll actually help your tax base as the convention center grows and brings in more visitors. So we thought it was important enough to stand up a committee and do some activity so that we educate the population, we make sure the city knows what's going on, and we get the voters out to vote yes on these bonds.
Okay. And this building Omaha's future committee, that's the sole purpose of this committee, is to push these bond issues?
It's the sole purpose.
Okay, and just to reiterate the bond issues here, I'm going to bring the screen back up. Amy H. in the chat is asking about that. Transportation bonds, 80.9 million. Public facilities bonds, 146 million. Public safety bonds, 10 million. street preservation bonds 72 million, and sewer bonds 14.5 million, parks and rec bonds 10 million. Why are these not in the city budget is her question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, the spending is in the city budget. The way bonds work is the city builds a budget every year, and the budget that the city builds has both an expense side and a capital side. And in order to fund their capital spending and sometimes some of their operating expense spending, they have to float bonds so that the cash is available when they do the project. These have really no impact on city budget other than if they don't pass, the money might not be there to do these kinds of projects
That's my
when
question.
we want to do them. Like, repair the streets in your neighborhood, build out a new street, improve our parks. And one of the things I had forgotten is that $10 million bond includes, new vehicles for fire stations and police stations as well.
Okay. Interesting. Amy Aisha is asking who put together the community. So this building Omaha's future. Who's behind this?
Yeah, again, we're affiliated with the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce. And the Greater Omaha Chamber has hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of members. And their president, Heath Mello, thought this was an important initiative to make sure we support. So he reached out in the community and got a host of us, people like myself, Ashley Coon's on there, Mickey Anderson's on there, Leslie Anderson's on there, Beth Whited from UP. It's a host of mostly community and business leaders who care about Omaha and want to make sure these bonds get passed.
Got it. How much success are you having spreading the word here on this? You getting good feedback on people understanding this? Are people aware of these bond issues when you talk to them, or is this kind of new information for them?
Yeah, so it's newish information because the city goes to the voters about every 4 years for bonds like these. I mentioned their normal course, but they don't happen every year. And so every time these bonds come up, there has to be a little bit of an effort to educate the city on, hey, this is happening. This is why it's important to you as a citizen of Omaha. And this is what we would encourage you to do about it. So, it's something that happens irregularly, but routinely. And so far, we've reached really some really good audiences. We've got, once we've engaged in the conversation and our citizens understand, consumers understand what we're talking about, they're like, oh yeah, that makes good sense. Like, let's take the convention center. So the convention center, since its start, has been a home run. It's net added revenue into the city's coffers as an entity. And there's a lot of citizens that would think, well, doesn't that mean it funds itself? Well, it funds itself for daily operation, but from the time we've built it, recalling it's about 25 years old, we're now last on a list of available meeting rooms and amenities compared to convention centers in our peer cities like Des Moines or Oklahoma City or, fill in the blank. And so we need to invest in it. Well, they don't create enough cash on their own to make that investment, and they're an entity that's owned by the city. So the city needs to float some bonds so that we can expand the meeting space in the convention center and draw in another 1.2 million people over the next 10 years, adding to the growth of the city and the tax base of the city, right? So it's things like that consumers need to be educated on. And they're like, oh, I get it.
Okay, so let's jump into that one real quick. You're talking about this one here, the public facilities bond, 146 million. Planned facilities projects include a downtown police precinct, a downtown fire station, renovation expansion of the CHI Center Arena and Convention Center, and a new Omaha Police outdoor gun range to replace existing Elkhorn location. This is definitely one you mentioned earlier that some of the other bonds that you guys kind of are not really concerned with pushing at this point that were way more controversial, school choice and abortion and so on. But this is a pretty controversial one for us. we have been reporting on what's being called Cop City out in Atlanta, and this is a area where they are building out facilities, gun ranges, and training facilities right next to the black population of right next to black neighborhoods in Atlanta. And there's some plans for that to happen here, and this seems like part of those plans. It feels like it's a little bit buried inside of this fire stations that we need and expansion of the CHI Center. And so this particular bond right here, 146 million. I think that we would have a little bit of pushback on that. You're saying vote yes for all six. That might be one that we might not because of that situation there. A lot of people in the chat may feel that way, that they may not vote for this one because of that, the way that is tucked inside of this whole facilities situation. So the next question is a question they've been asking in the chat also.
Hey, Paul, can I talk to you a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so having discussed with Thomas Warren about that exact issue, the gun range, the whole issue there is trying to address the concern you've just had, not necessarily only focused on the black community, but the current gun range is being surrounded by community, and that community is concerned about it, right? It's not something that a lot of people want in their backyard. So the plan is to take it away from a population center and move it again out to a place where it's not surrounded by people or near a neighborhood. And I would imagine 40 years from now, we'll have to do it again. But, as the city grows, you got to do that and move it away. I completely understand what you're talking about. And then, the other thing to observe is the current police force in Omaha is working their butts off, appears to me to be doing a pretty good job of community policing, keeping the crime levels down, and kind of addressing issues at cause to the extent they can. We're not going to debate that here, but I just want to make sure nobody thinks, there's like a bait and switch. Let's move it from here and put it, in downtown North O. That's not it.
You're saying it's going to move even further past Elkhorn, sounds like.
It's getting out into the country away from people.
Okay, this is a better question for this particular facilities bond, public facilities bond one in particular. Marianne Williams is asking, where do voters go to see specifics on how this money will be spent? There was another question in here about is it going to break down what money goes where inside of these bonds?
Yes. So if you go, I think we've set up a website with all of the available material that the city is making available, as well as our own kind of explanatory material. That's on buildingomahasfuture.com. Just like buildingomahasfuture.com. So that's the first place I would go. On that website, it points you to where you can find even further detail. I'm not sure if the bond language itself is available yet. And so I can't tell you if the bond language is something that voters can read right now. I imagine it is, because mail-in voting starts anytime now, right? It might have already started for all I know.
Yeah. Okay. And City Council just approved Mayor Gene Stothard's budget, so I can't imagine that this hasn't been discussed as far as how these bonds will break down.
Yeah.
Early voting starts October 7th. Okay. Okay, so I think that's going to be a very big issue here. I'm kind of looking through the site now, and I'm not really seeing those answers. So we'll continue to look. We're not going to try to look for it here during this broadcast. As a matter of fact, it's now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
That was a weak little. That was buddy. Your
heart was not like my jingle.
Your heart wasn't in the jingle this time.
Holy cow! Did you pay for that?
It's 8:03 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Lance Fritz. He is with what's this organization called again? I keep forgetting.
Building Omaha's Future.
There you go. And they're encouraging us to vote on all 6 of these bonds. And again, there's going to be no tax increase on these bonds. He explained how the bond situation works. For the most part, we're seeing a lot of these things look pretty good. Definitely have a question about the facility or the public facilities bond. that includes some money to the police department, gun ranges, and so on and so forth. So we definitely our next question. I know we have a whole segment on here called "Follow the Money," and I know that a lot of people are thinking of that when they're saying, "Where will this money go? How will it be split?" You instructed us to go to this website here, and maybe there might not be the granulated kind of answers to that question that we need quite yet, but we're going to keep trying to look for that. If you can find it, please let us know. And
Yeah.
we don't have to do it now. You can send another time, but
Well,
yeah. Mhm.
I can tell you, you would, when you tick down that sheet that you were looking at that you put up for your audience, it shows the dollar figures for each of the
It
bond
does.
initiatives.
Right.
So 10 million for public safety, and I think that's the one with vehicles and equipment for fire and police.
Hmm.
Mhm.
10 million for parks and recreation. So that's things like building out, a swing set or a ballpark in our public parks. 14.5 million for sewer. That's not the big project, right? We passed a big separate bond for building everything out and repairing our sewer system. This is for kind of run of the mill everyday projects.
Mhm.
72 million for street preservation. That's the accelerated city street improvement that started in 2020. That this is to continue to fund that. 80.9 million for transportation. That's building out new road infrastructure to make the city more accessible and open up the city a bit. And 146 million for public facilities. That's the new fire and police combined station downtown because there's a lot of people living downtown nowadays. And it's also the piece that's got the convention center expansion.
Got it. So I
Yeah.
think the question is, especially for this public facilities bond, how much is going to what inside of this 146 million? I think is what they're asking. So
It,
oh, go ahead.
It breaks down on this on that site. Just yeah,
Got it.
it's all there. It's all there. About 100 million or so of the 146 million will go to the Omaha Downtown Convention Center. It says about 46 million from the bond will be used for the downtown police precinct, fire station, as well as other facilities to improve public safety. So that's kind of the split. 46 in the of the 146 million, 100 million will go to the downtown expansion, and about 46 million will go to police precinct and other projects.
And
Overall,
buddy, the 100 million is matched by 100 million philanthropic spending for
correct.
the convention center. The projects is going to be about double that. City's on the
Right.
hook for about half.
Right. So I'll just kind of put it out there. I think overall a lot of people won't have too many issues with 10 million going to parks. I think a lot of people would think parks needs improvement. Streets, Omaha is unfortunately recognized as some of the worst drivers in the nation
I'm tired,
often. So yeah,
tired of
yeah.
buying tires. I'm tired of
Have
buying
you been
tires
to
and
Atlanta?
potholes.
Actually, I live in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, which is quite interesting.
I'm in
But
Atlanta right now. Yeah.
somehow people keep hitting buildings in Omaha. But I do think that the police portion will be an area where you'll get a lot of pushback. But I do appreciate you, coming on, at least letting people be aware of some of the bond issues because a lot of the races dominate the conversation a lot of the time, and people, I'm guilty of going to the ballot and looking at these bond issues like, what is this? How
You
does this
didn't
work?
do the research on it, right?
Right. So thank you for that. And there was a question to that regard in the chat. One of our chat chimers, brother Marlon Harrison, asked, "Are there going to be any town hall meetings to educate the community about these bonds further than the media run that you're on?"
100%. I do not know the dates as of this moment, but around the city in all of our communities, there will be town halls hosted by the mayor that a member of Building Omaha's Future will be at, so that we can talk about these. And if anybody has questions, we can handle them point blank right there.
Okay.
Yeah, be sure to send us those dates. We'll definitely promote them and try to get as many people in on those meetings as possible.
I'll make sure we follow up on that.
Appreciate that. Again,
Yeah.
I'm really like I said, we can debate on a lot of these things, but the bottom line is that I was very excited to hear that you guys wanted to come on and share this because we were trying to figure out how to transition out of this conversation about the presidential race and get back to some of the local stuff that there's
Mhm.
bond issues on that ballot. There's judges that we need to be studying and learning about. There's so many things that we need to be doing the research on. So this was kind of a great way to kind of jump into some of the things that are here and understand them and know them. So we appreciate your time coming on explaining that to us. and breaking those things down. And appreciate the work that you're doing over here with this organization as well, trying to advocate for a lot of the stuff that's happening. So appreciate that very much. We're always going to always be having a lot of opinions about one thing or another, and all of our politics are different, but we all understand that there's a system here that we're trying to do something about helping shape. And this is one way we can do that. And we all use all of these facilities. We use the streets, we use the parks. This is something that I think, for the most part, like Buddy said, I think people will be positive on, and maybe not. So whether or not you vote or not, but whether or not you vote these 6 bond issues in, or maybe 5 out of the 6, just vote. just make sure you know them and vote. That's kind of the point. So appreciate
Amen.
that.
And Paul and Eddie, Buddy, thank you very much for creating this forum where we can have a discussion like this. I love it. Any opportunity to have a dialogue that helps people go away a little more informed and a little more thoughtful. I would encourage all 6. 6 for 6 is good, but everybody's got to make up their own mind. Most important, vote.
Yes, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I will put out, just as your position with the Luminarium and business in Omaha, would just love to speak to you again on that regard. Again, we're always following the money, especially in light of LB 1024. Again, a lot of money coming into North Omaha, but trying to build the business base in North Omaha, and believe that doing that will actually help the city at large. So I'd love to speak to you about that and some of the things going on at Luminarium as well.
Amen. The Luminarium is just a home run for our community, and
Yes, sir. Yes,
it's
sir.
done a terrific job of being open and available regardless of socioeconomic status.
Yep.
And I know there's a ton of work going on workforce development via the chamber when it comes to Northo, and specifically helping small business set up and be viable. Things like, a sub turning into a contractor and understanding the path of bonding and things like that,
Mhm.
and how to set up a business, how to create project planning and budgeting.
Yep.
That's critically important, right? We want Omaha to thrive, and every single corner of Omaha has to be able to be generating jobs, generating income, generating poverty-breaking wealth, and creating access.
We appreciate that you feel that way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right,
We'll
guys.
have you again another time and talk about some more things another time. Thank you very much. Send our regards back to your organization, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Good
see
day.
ya. There you
All right.
go, Mr.
There you
Lance
go.
Fritz. Yeah, man. I'm glad he put it on our mind. There's more things on that ballot than the presidential race. That's just what it is. So I appreciate all the questions. Thank you, especially Amy H. Dot. Every time I was thinking of something, I would look over and you already had the question ready. So
Yeah, and it's just kind of interesting and unfortunate, kind of how some of these things get wrapped up. I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience, won't be very high on the whole Cop City police, shooting range, especially in light of some of the things happening recently in the community. But I personally would like to see, the downtown convention center and CHI get expanded. So the fact that those are kind of wrapped up into each other is very interesting and kind of unfortunate, if you ask me. But again, there you have it. Those are the bond issues. Again, check out buildingomaha'sfuture.org for more information. And educate yourselves and think for yourselves. But vote, if anything.
there you go. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'm Paul B. He's Buddy the God.
Hey.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all.
Black. One move, we move. Just like that. Just like black. One move, we move. Just like that.
Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning. Man, Wednesday, September 11th.
Hump day.
Moving right on through the month in a big way. So I appreciate everybody that's coming through. Appreciate everybody's comments on these there and all the questions too. I love how we have a healthy a dose of skepticism around here. Sometimes we're listening to some of the things that are coming through and
Oh yeah.
asking some legit questions and all those things. Tony Johnson in the chat asks, how will funding these efforts benefit North Omaha in regards to health, safety, and jobs? Any specific efforts to ensure North Omaha will benefit this? I don't know if they're that's probably not on the. I mean, that's in the agenda in a roundabout way, but not so much a direct way. But I think,
Well,
go
I,
ahead.
I would say to that point, we got to recognize how to, recognize opportunity.
True that.
We got to know how to recognize 10 million going to recreations and parks. Maybe the city can contract with somebody in our community to do that.
There you
Maybe
go.
somebody can contract with the city to pave these roads. Like there's opportunity in this. But can we recognize it as a community?
And even before that, we have an opportunity to reach out to the city to say, hey, we know these bonds are on the ballot, and we know people are voting for them. So can we have some contract work? Can we this?
There you
Can we
go.
that?
There
This
you
this
go.
particular organization is just advocating for that and saying vote. But the people that are going to be making the decisions on how that money gets spent and where is going to be the city. So this is an opportunity to really kind of reach out to them and find that out. So that's what's up. Pop says I like him. He's dedicated to the city, no doubt. Pops also says Zane loves hanging out at the Luminarium. Luminarium's
Man.
dope.
Yeah, man.
Dope. Super
Yeah,
dope.
and he's right. They're doing good work. I definitely feel like the luminarium of the recent projects in the city is one that feels open to the whole city. I don't feel like North Omaha or South Omaha, is blocked off from that. Shout out to Lala doing some great work
Man.
at the luminarium. Shout out to DJ Scotty Pigeon, getting down on the ones and twos down there. Check it out.
Bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
um, what's bro's name? Brenton. We got all kinds of fam down there at the Luminarium doing some
Yeah, man.
things. Really, really with some vision on that spot. On top of the fact that even people that are behind building it are friends of First Sky Omaha. So that's what's up. Marianne Williams says most of these bonds are very worthwhile, but this has to be a great example on how to defund the police.
There you go. There you go.
Tony Von Chapman in the chat. Good morning. He says Tony Johnson, great questions. He says Tony Johnson says just keep in mind that many of these big projects adjacent to North Omaha have not benefited the black workforce. We talk a lot about Atlanta airport model. Here is another time to demand it in Omaha.
That's all I'm saying.
Agreed.
That's all I'm saying.
Agreed.
But
And I'm
again,
just grateful that we know that the money's coming. That this
right,
exists.
right.
So we can do that.
But to Mr. Lance Fritz a point, let's make sure we in the community are aware and on top of not just being subcontractors, but being contractors and having our business in line. I will say that sometimes we don't, and we should. And these opportunities are there as long as we can push for them.
There you go. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate everybody who's jumped into the chat with the comments and also the questions. Good questions for our guests. We had another guest that was supposed to be coming in, had to cancel at the last minute, so we'll have Deshaun. For those of you that saw that advertisement, Deshaun Cunningham will be on next week. I believe that he's going to bring some information about the case. We're going to do a little bit more research on that. Who is helping with the case?
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to reach out to the family of brother Cameron and find out if anybody from the family is ready to come on and speak about the issue as well, or the lawyer as well. So we got some community members that are trying to help, but we also want to get word from the family on what's going on with the case as well. And of course, if we have a Senator Wayne on Monday, he probably can give us a little bit of insights on what's going on the legal side of the situation with Cameron for the shooting. So yeah, really appreciate everybody who's staying tuned with us, and we're gonna keep on trying to have those guests that come in and really help inform. I always put the word out on that too. This is voting season, so we were trying to get as many people in as we can. We make some calls sometimes to get some folks on that we think that you guys want to hear from, and people call us as well. We try to coordinate them coming on. But for the most part, it's up to us. Who do we want to meet and see and talk to and get to know, so we can make choices on who it is we're going to vote for when it comes time. Let us know. You can always put that in the chat or put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha, or send it directly to us at firstsky.omaha@gmail. Send your ideas there, and we'll try to reach out to who we can. So appreciate that very much. Again, it is 8:18 right now. That's if you believe in the concept of time. You're in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
And this is kind of the area in which we dive into a little bit more discussion. So, on some of the issues that we were talking about in the first hour, let us know if you have any comments, if there's anything that any more that needs to be discussed, and trying to leave room a little bit for the debate last night too. If that's something y'all want to talk about, I think we might be. I think I might have messed up just bringing it up again. We might have been far away from it. Don't have to talk about it. So
No,
we'll see.
actually, actually, that's what I got at the top of my list.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go ahead and
yeah.
knock it on out, man. At least that was my plan. I had concepts of plans about it, so
Right,
we'll
right.
see.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe that's the Deshaun who ran for office. That he was part of the activists that were out there calling for that police officer to be fired with the family. Sherman Wells and a lot of other folks were out there as well. So yeah, that's the same Deshaun. We'll have him on next week and speak to him about those things. Okay, well, buddy, I guess if you want to go ahead and let us know, let us know.
Well, I
What?
mean, yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. Again, we've kind of talked about some of the off beaten path ballot initiatives and other things that'll be making their way on the ballot. But we know that this presidential race is dominating a huge point, a huge part of this ballot. We all know that that's kind of the big race everybody's looking at. And yeah, let us know. Some people kind of let us know at the top of the show. Some people did watch it. Some people didn't watch it. Let
Right.
us know. Let us know how you feel. Let us know, did you watch it? Man, okay, I'm sorry. Breaking news. This
What's
Marlon
that?
Harrison. Marlon Harrison just dropped this on in the chat.
Oh
Breaking
my
news.
goodness, bro.
Yeah, man. Frankie Beverly just passed away. The family just broke the news on the official page, according to Brother Marlon Harrison.
Wow. Man, I appreciate that breaking news, man. Man.
Man, and just like that, the debate does not seem as important.
Yeah. Okay, man.
Mm,
Yeah, it's all over the place. um, yeah, it's all over the place. I appreciate you
man, rest
letting
in
us
peace, Frankie
know.
Beverly.
Yeah, rest in peace, Frankie Beverly, man. We losing some greats here this week in a big way.
Man, James Earl Jones.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, man. So, somber news there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that just completely took me left field as far as what I was saying, man. That's definitely man, it's bad news. Condolences out to the family. Frankie Beverly, legend, another one. Gone.
yeah. Okay. Don't quite know how to come back from that.
Yeah, I would say let's take a quick moment of silence, take a break, smell the coffee beans, and come back. Again, feel free to let us know in the chat how you feel. If you again want to you saw the debate, let us know. But man, yeah, Rome's review, happy feelings, man. Quite honestly, we need some Frankie Beverly, man, in Mays. Like in this most divisive time in American history, almost aside from the Civil War, Frankie reminded us we are one.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep. Quick moment of silence. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you bringing that to attention, brother Harrison. Uh, yep. Pop says, "Man, it comes in clusters, doesn't it? When it rains, it pours."
Man, they say it comes in threes. RG, yeah, you got it. No easy transition from that. Yeah, let's take a quick break, man. Kind of reset the palette.
Okay, yeah, we'll take a quick break. Thanks for joining us. We'll take a quick break. Come right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be, buddy the guy. Stay tuned.
Man.
Welcome back. Again, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, Paul B, buddy the guy. Shout out to Drunk Ship Coffee. Just while we're at it, letting them know that they are sponsors of the show, of the channel, and we really appreciate their sponsorship. Drunkshipcoffee.com. Hit them up. This is a family-owned coffee situation, and they source from one farm in Ethiopia. They source some really quality beans with nice roast. And go to drunkshipcoffee.com. I really want to thank, man. They send word back to me all the time that people that are friends of First Sky Omaha have purchased. So they keep on going. Well, we know if we getting any orders in Omaha, it's because of y'all. So appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys for doing that and supporting a company that is supporting us. If you have any a company that you would like to do some support of this show with, or any advertising or anything like that, hit us up. Go to firstskyOmaha@gmail.com and send us a request, and we will definitely get back to you on that tip. For any little bit helps when we're trying to raise funds in order to continue with the news portion of what it is we're doing here. So appreciate everybody who has done that already. We got reoccurring members and sponsors that are happening, and we can continue to grow that. We also get grants in order to do this, but you already know about them grants.
Yeah.
They you can't depend on them. I'll just say that you can't depend on them, and not only that, sometimes you can't accept them depending on who it is giving the grants out.
And the
So
strings attached.
we're gonna not have no strings attached to what it is we're doing. So that really means that we depend on the work that we do and the people that support us. And so shout out to all you guys that have done that already, man. Shout out to, I'm thinking about some folks that's helped so much over time. Mayor Sanchez always down for what it is we're doing, man. Chef always down. Marcy Yates over there at Culture House giving us the use of the space. Amy H. Dodd putting in work. Kimra Snipes putting in work. So many people that we got. We don't just have chat chimers. We got actual co-hosts and researchers and people with boots to the roots that help us do what we're doing. So really, really appreciate you guys on all levels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Couldn't do this without community. Couldn't do this without community. So again, big shout out to all of you, and thank you for joining us here. And again, about halfway through the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Again, still kind of reeling from the breaking news. Again, rest in peace, Frankie Beverly. Man, the family just broke the news. A lot of people already dropping quotes in the chat, so appreciate that. Yeah, man. Rome's Review. Happy feelings. Sunshine and rain. Tony Johnson saying joy and pain. Words so true to our community. Indeed. So yeah, man. Play some Frankie Beverly today, man. Might do good for the soul, especially in light of everything going on, man. Again, talking about the debate, talking about the shooting that happened at Northwest. And also, there's an incident at MCC where apparently a man pulled a gun on some individuals close to the campus, which led to the campus being shut down as well. So, again, a lot of things going on in the community. And just let us know, man. Another thing, like, are y'all okay? Same question rings. Like, are we okay? Are we okay? What are we doing today to kind of take care of our mental health?
For sure. We talked about this earlier in the show. As a matter of fact, we get on about 10 minutes before the 7 o'clock hour, just to speak to friends of First Sky Omaha. We call them the hellos and how you doings, and we get all that out of the way so we can start a hard 7 o'clock news broadcast. That was the change in this season 1B that we're in right now. So for those of you just joining us and don't know about that, you recognize that we start the show at 7, but we actually get on 6:50 and kind of tap in to see how everybody's doing. And that question was put out in that first 10 minutes. How are we doing as a community? How are we doing personally as people? We've had friends of First Sky Omaha, friends and family that knew Brother Cameron Ford, and they're still reeling over what happened with him. The police entering his home and shooting him while he was unarmed, and killing him. And that's happened here in this past few weeks. Also, what just happened at the school. Even though nobody passed away from it, it's still a very, very scary situation. Anybody that got kids or lives in the neighborhood and understands these things are going on, as soon as the headline goes up, shooting at Northwest, all of a sudden, people are scrambling because we're so used to this in this country to hearing that news, meaning mass shooting of several kids dying, upwards of 30 kids, and in Sandy Hook. And I mean, we can go on and on about all the way back to Columbine when it first hit the news. this phenomenon. So we got very nervous about all those things, and they had to come on and tell us it was an isolated incident. But everybody was glued to the TV, man, in a way that they weren't haven't been since the 80s, since there was only three channels and
Man,
everybody watched the same thing. So everybody was on it. And so we appreciate everybody who tapped in with each other to find out what was going on, and tap in with each other to find out what's going on emotionally as well.
man.
Take care of each other that way too.
Yeah. That's kind of where my mind is, man. Not like still going back to the debate, but not necessarily on the, what happened in the debate, the particulars, who said what, but just the overall feel. You know what I mean? And in light of brother Rome's review in the chat saying Stevie Wonder has a new song trying to heal the world,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what like the vibe emotionally. One of the things that stood out with this debate is whether or not what side, regardless of what side you're on, divisiveness. It feels like us as a society are so divided. Like I said, it seems like more so than really ever. And regardless on who wins, I'm honestly not very hopeful or excited about, this future. If Trump wins, then we kind of know what we can expect with that. If he loses, how will people respond in the community? And what will that happen? We know last time he lost, they stormed the Capitol. What's going to happen this time? Also, don't know about Kamala. I'll be honest, I don't know. So,
Yeah, I mean, if he loses, then that doesn't necessarily mean we win
right, exactly.
on some levels.
Exactly. Exactly. On multiple levels. On multiple levels. So, it just kind of the feeling like, in times like this, my mind as an artist goes to, Frankie Beverly Mays and Stevie Wonder. Like these unfortunately are the people that inspire me and make me feel hopeful and speak to my soul. And man, we need them now more than ever.
Yeah. That's very true, man. We had our last season was called The Love Supreme, and it was really based around that whole theory that really it's the artists, it's the artists bringing the war really was the only thing that's going to be able to overcome this mess is artistry, and artistry comes from love, and that's like that's why songs heal, that's why movies heal, that's why art heals, that's the only ammo we got aside from the actions that we're trying to take to change things, physically on a front level, right on a physical level. In order to keep your spirits up, even to continue in the fight, you got to have that spirit thrive and be filled up by art, by artistry. So for Wanda Lewis in the chat, I appreciate you. I was get back to your comment in a minute. She said Frankie Beverly recently completed his last tour. Yeah, I do
Yep.
remember him saying that.
Yep.
Almost like he was preparing us for this day. His health must have not been the best. Yeah, I think people be knowing when
Oh yeah.
how much time they got left sometimes, for sure. Also, just to back up a little bit here, I saw a comment that Wanda Lewis brought out too. She says you would think that the convention center, talking about these initiatives, ballot initiatives, you would think the convention center would be a self-sustaining with the money that's been generated. They might want to consider hosting larger events as well as reevaluating the salaries of their CEOs and not donating so much to the mayor's campaign.
Looks like she looked into the funds a little bit, followed the money a little bit.
Little bit. But I don't know, man. They have pretty big shows there already. I don't know how much bigger they can get from
Yeah.
whoever, Lady Gaga and whoever they bring the
Yeah.
kind of the biggest
The
things there
biggest
is to bring.
Garth Brooks.
As a matter of fact, the rodeo is the biggest show they have there at CHI, and it's huge every year, bringing in tons of money. So I think the model is that it's just not, it's just like a whole lot of other nonprofit organizations out here where the situation is too large, and and they're really depending on the donations to fill the rest of the gaps here in order to do what they're doing already. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not so mad about that one.
Yeah,
I
it's the
don't
police.
like,
It's the police
yeah,
model.
I don't like how it bundled in with the rest of it. So
Yeah.
Tony Johnson says a hard time in the world we live in is balancing all the natural emotions. So much impact the black community that the bad emotions outweigh the good.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes that is the case.
Dealing
Sometimes that
with
is the case.
man, dealing with terror, man. That's fear. It's fear and terror. That's
And ain't nothing new under the sun that's been going on.
man.
Marlon Harrison says the cookhouse won't be the same no more. I don't know, bro. I think the cookhouse is gonna be rocking a whole lot. That's the beauty of the fact that these cats left their legacy, left their
Yeah,
recordings.
yeah,
We'll be
yeah,
listening to Frankie Beverly and May songs forever.
man. Heavy on the joy and pain.
Heavy on it. Heavy on it. Von Chapman says, will the bond program heal the pain in the black community, or will it help continue black misery? I don't know. That seems a
I don't
pretty
know.
broad question there. Oh, I see
Yeah.
Roscoe Wallace in the chat.
Peace, peace, peace,
Yeah.
brother. Says good
He
morning,
says,
brothers.
we have a lot of healing to do individually, collectively. We haven't begun the healing necessary since COVID.
Man,
Interesting. I got a chance to speak to Brother Wallace recently. We ran into each other at a meeting and got to learn a little bit more about what the brother's doing, man. And we were supposed to have him on the show, but we had so many booked today, and of course, like some of those bookings didn't happen, so we probably could have had him on. But we're gonna get him on for next Wednesday. But I'm really impressed with the program he's got going on with another brother I met the other day too. Brother Roscoe, what was the other brother's name? I forgot his name already. But the work that they're doing with kids, man, really kind of impressed me. They're helping kids, especially ones that are incarcerated or in juvie or wherever they're at. Kind of helping some young ones, and know and the approach is you ain't you. I know that these kids ain't out here trying to listen to the old heads like that's like the programs that used to be where the old heads would come and scared straight and tell you what's up and all the stuff.
uh-huh.
I don't work on these young kids no more, man. They don't want
Man,
to hear nothing. They ain't got no respect like that. They don't want to hear nothing from these old heads. What they want is to get their needs addressed. And
mhm.
brother Walter Harris, there you go, Walter Harris, brother Roscoe and brother Walter Harris. They coming at okay. Well, what do you need? What can we help you get right now? You hungry? You need some place to live? What
Man,
let's start there. Let's start there rather than the whole OG said, "Don't go down that road, son. Go get a job." All the stuff that all the stuff that sometimes OGs on the other side of it get caught up trying to explain to the young cats to not go down that route and so on. But ain't nobody trying to hear that sometimes. You're not trying to hear something from the old heads all the time. So if the old heads is coming with some solutions and some help, that's another
mhm.
thing.
Man,
So
I
go ahead.
kind of feel like there's something to that as
Yeah,
far
man.
as like I do feel like there's a connection between some of the violence that we're seeing, especially with our youth, 11, 12, 13, 14 year olds shooting each other, and the debate and some of the divisiveness that's happening. Like, where are the adults in the room?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, as a child looking at society, I can kind of empathize with them, like, looking like, look, what are the adults doing? Especially we talk about parents not stepping up. Like, where are the adults in the room? Who's taking control of this situation?
yeah, man.
Politicians aren't doing it. There's community leaders, but who's supporting them?
That's real. I heard a comedian one time say say when you're down and out and you can't and you got to make a decision on what bill to pay if your lights happen to go off. So you got a good week or two before your kids start asking some questions.
Man.
You got to tell them something. Why we got to listen to you? You can't even keep the lights on. Cold blooded.
Hey,
Cold
I have
blooded.
real conversations with my kids all the time, man. Like, look, daddy trying his best.
That's cold blooded. You looking up and down like we got to listen
Hey,
to.
but at a certain point, like, can we believe him or can we blame him? Roscoe Wallace, again, brother, coming in, kind of camelbacking on what I'm saying. He says, when Maslow's basic needs are not met, it's all about survival. Don't talk to me hungry about a job.
Man,
And that's how I like. Look, I got little brothers that get in trouble and stuff all the time. And as a big brother, like I could do so much, but I can't offer him a job. You know what I mean? Like these types of things.
we working on that. That's what
Right. We are. But these are real conversations.
right.
These are real conversations, and we're really talking about the real thing. Like, can we blame some of these kids for doing the things that they're doing? Where is the guidance? Where's the adults in the room? Like,
We got to get back to that idea that the adults are responsible for that. Where are they? That is the very question. A lot of adults are shaping their kids to go that route. a lot of adults are busy doing stuff and and can't be around the kids as much. The kids are going their own way and come up with their own thing to do. There's a lot going on here, but a lot of it really stems back to like poverty. When you're in poverty and you don't have you feel like you got to go do something to get out of that, then you're gonna go do what the first thing is to go do. So this is the reason why I was impressed by what Roscoe Wallace and his brother Deester. They said he's known by brother Walter Harris. When they said that, we talked about Maslow's basic needs and everything standing outside there talking about that. You're right, bro. When your stomach is rumbling, you want to hear go back to school, young blood. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? That's not what you're trying to hear at that moment in time, bro. You're trying to like, okay, cool, but I'm going back home and I got to go do something about feeding my little brother and sister. So what can I do about that right now? Since I got to, since the job don't kick in till I go get it, so I'm just impressed by Black Agenda Alliance, what it is they're doing. I'm impressed by these brothers, what they're doing. There's people that got boots to the roofs that are actually pulling the kids aside and helping meeting them where they're at and understanding. Like, as soon as he said, this generation ain't really, when we was all young, we had a little bit more respect. We just kind of did our own thing, but we were just like, okay, OG, I appreciate you, OG. Okay. And then went and did what we wanted. These kids would tell you to your face right away. Nah, man, I ain't trying to hear all that. You know what I'm saying? And so they are listening. I know they listening to the kids if they heard that. If the kids, they said that to them. So, they're listening to the kids. They're meeting them where they're at and finding some solutions on trying to help and helping them. And it's not just about being in a situation, but it's having strategies on what you're going to do to help kids where they're at and how they need to be helped. So shout out to them. We'll definitely have that brother on, brother Roscoe Wallace, on next Wednesday to talk more about the work that he's doing and more about these theories as well. Really appreciate running into him and hearing that. So that's what's up. Pops in the chat says, totally off topic, but the Buffalo Bill Wild West show had its first performance just outside of Omaha. The rodeo has been. Oh, don't, man, buddy, calm down, buddy. I know,
What?
I know you over here. Yes, the rodeo.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna say it.
So the rodeo has been a big thing in the O for a long time. Well, buddy, we talk about
Black rodeo.
black rodeos. What we be talking about all the time, man. And yeah, man, yeah,
Yeah. Hey, man, I grew up on westerns. You know what I'm saying? My step pop still watch Bonanza.
Me TV, baby, me TV.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, I can't act like I haven't thought about copping me a pair of Tacovas. They a little pricey, but you might see Bud in some boots and hats,
bruh.
Hey, man, Tacovas are nice.
You better to cover yourself in some regular clothes. Wanda Lewis said we could use a new style of school counselors that also had a whole double duties as qualified mental health counselors. Woo, that's a good idea. So when the students are having issues, they can get help at the schools, especially how to handle conflict issues.
Yeah, and would like to take this time to shout out Benson, who again we reported on. They're opening the mental health wing at Benson. That's coming pretty soon. So yeah, hopefully other schools will follow that. But the fact that it is coming in the OPS already in that direction.
Roscoe said black counselors that can relate to our kids.
That's man. Right.
We got counselors, but we need something that can relate to the kids for sure.
Man, rest in peace to Mr. Wiley, man. It was the whole reason I went to a HBCU. He was like, yeah, go.
What's up, man?
Yeah, my counselor.
I'm not going to let y'all turn this conversation into the rodeo conversation. Ron's review said rodeo is a Latin word. Pop says, I hear you, buddy. Pop's is going to be known to wear Stetson from time to time.
Come on, man. Nice Stetson, some Tacovas. Howdy.
Get out of here, man.
Come on, man.
Y'all country.
Wear my buffalo tie.
Rosary says, are those boots with the long C-band? Look, with the curl pony toes. Yeah,
not that long. not the whole gator.
Y'all tripping. I'm blaming on your time in Florida. That's what I'm blaming that on. You.
All right. I'm a Nebraska boy. I'm a Nebraska. That's how I say it down here.
God damn, I need to hurry up and get out of here, y'all. Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. So yeah, we that's definitely a rabbit hole to go down for sure. But I kind of wanted to get back a little bit to
Go ahead.
A couple of things we kind of I feel like we had some good conversation again about like the incident that happened yesterday.
Hmm.
The updates on Don Klein's decision, which is unfortunate. I can't wait to talk to the senators on Monday to find out next steps. Man, we need some next steps when it comes to that brother,
Yeah.
that whole situation. Also, just a reminder, Ashley Spivey is running and doing her thing in big ways. Man, got a lot of stuff going on, really ramping it up. I thought, man, she can't do no more. She's ramping it up even harder. So that's what's up. She put this whole save the date flyer out there. We kind of living by voter registration deadline October 18th. By mail, email, fax, or online. Absentee ballot request deadline October 25th. Absentee ballot return deadline November 5th, and early voting starts October 7th and ends November 4th. So save those dates, man. You gotta, you remember you gotta register first. So we got a little bit of time before that. If you're not registered, definitely do that. And I also, this is not on here, but also make sure that your license is up to date. And if you don't
Man,
have a license,
man.
get your ID. You can go to the DMV and ask for an ID for voting, and they will give you a free one. So make sure that you got all that tip top. I had to look at mine, man. Mine's going to expire in June of next year. So I just,
Mm.
I was, yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm glad I looked because your expiration of your license be so far down the line, you'd be thinking about it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely take a look at your license and look, man, on the
That's an
real.
afterthought. It's definitely an afterthought, but definitely something that you should be looking out for, making sure. My mom's has been reminding me that people's names are being taken off the voter rolls. So definitely, even if you are already registered, even if your license is already up to date, definitely check on that, double check, triple check. And this is something that may become a national issue. Actually, Nebraska Examiner just reported yesterday that Trump is apparently urging a government shutdown unless Congress passes a bill requiring ID to register to vote. So the whole voter ID situation again may make its way to the spotlight as we get closer to the election. Again, Trump wrote on social media, if Republicans in the House and Senate don't get absolute assurance on election security, all caps, they should in no way, shape, or form go forward with a continuing resolution on the budget, which effectively would mean a government shutdown. So even from outside the White House, Trump's still trying to direct things and apply pressure. So
I know I'm a
yeah,
little tired because as soon as you said all caps, I was like, they lying about all of it.
man.
Oh no, wake up, Paul,
Yeah,
wake up.
not that kind of cap, not that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
cap.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely look out for that. Also, in light of ballot and voting, there was something I did want to also mention before we get out of here. Again, we talked about some of the offbeat initiatives and bond issues and things like that. But there are also candidates that again are outside of the whole duopoly, if you will, of um Republican and Democrat that are on the ballot in Nebraska. And I did want to just kind of point out some other issues, regardless, if you watch the debate and you're not very high on either candidate. Again, there are other options that are already on the ballot in Nebraska. Let's see. We have, of course, Donald Trump with his running mate JD Vance, also Kamala Harris with Tim Walz. But there are also a Libertarian candidate Chase Oliver with the running mate Mike Termott, also, Legal Marijuana Now Party, Cornel West running with Melina Abdullah, and of course, Dr. Jill Stein, who is by petition with Samson Padanu. Might have slaughtered that last name. But again, Dr. Jill Stein, Dr. Cornel West, Chase Oliver, Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump are all of your presidential candidates for the ballot in Nebraska. So again, you have more than just the two that are heavy in discussion.
Yeah. Word up. Also in the chat, RG is throwing a name out there, Chantal Mallory for Douglas County Attorney. So if
Okay.
it, so
Okay.
that's the first person that threw out a name for if we did get Don Klein out the paint, then maybe replaced by this person. So yeah, give us some information on who that is. That's the name I haven't heard, and we'll definitely look into it as well because I think it's part of the plan, man. If you're gonna do something about trying to get Don to remove Don Klein, then that is the question. Who would be next? Who are you gonna
Hmm.
put in that seat? Somebody said earlier it could be somebody worse. Never know. So, they're always a prime, man. They always got a lot of people primed up, ready for positions and putting people in. I was very amazed to see like the amount of the new leadership, new leaders council, which is kind of the equivalent, the Democratic equivalent to the young Republicans. the young Republicans outnumber them
Man,
20-1. Like
man,
they always are grooming and got somebody set up. So
coming out the woodwork.
that's real, man. That's real.
Yeah. So
Bond Chapman says, I'm still hung up on the bond issue. Why can't these bonds be so allocated to help Roscoe Wallace Group or be used for projects centered around juvenile or prison reform? I think there's not. Those are just six of some of the bond issues. There's a bunch. He kind of stated in the beginning that the ones that were more controversial, they were kind of staying away from.
mhm.
So there could be more. And to me, that's the point. I wasn't looking at bond issues
Yeah.
until this came up, and I'm like, oh, that's right. That's going to be on the ballot too, man. I'm tired of standing in there going, what's this? I didn't read up on
Mhm.
this. So yeah, there might be some other things there, and this is our opportunity to now let's take a look. So if anybody is out there, you can pick up a voter's guide from the uh, what's
The
the women
legal women voters.
League of Women Voters. They have a guide out. We can pick that up and start taking a look at some of these things. We got a little information on six of them. Let's look at the rest.
Yeah. Yeah. Educate yourselves and decide for yourself. But let your voice be heard. Let your mind be free on that. And also to that question, Brother Von Chapman, just a whole nother thing to look into. Like, how are bonds even created? Who drafts these bonds? How do you get in front of this thing from the inception? So yeah, we'll look more into it and continue to educate ourselves and hope you do the same.
Yep. Anybody have any haps going on this weekend coming up?
Yeah. What's going on?
Let us know what's going on this weekend. If there's anything that you guys are going to do, of course, we already talked about Robert Glasper coming up. That's kind of the show I'm waiting on,
Yeah.
man, in a big way. Robert Glasper is happening
Man.
Friday, September 27th. We got a couple weeks for that, 27th, but it's on the map in a big way,
Hey.
bro. And shout out to Wakanda One, man, for getting it open for them, open for him. That's huge. That's a huge move right there. So shout out to them for that. And again, we already talked a little bit about stuff that the Empowerment Network is putting on the 27th as well. CHI Health Center Omaha. Eric Thomas, ET, returning to Omaha. It was a very inspirational
Man.
situation that when we saw him the first time. So looking forward to that. Something else that the Empowerment Network is got going on too. The annual North Omaha Jobs and Careers Summit.
Okay.
So this is happening. This is coming up September the 14th. So this is coming up in 3 days.
This weekend.
This weekend, 8:45 a.m. to 11:30, Swanson Conference Center. That's at 5730 North 30th Street, Building 22. You can register today. You see there's a QR code there and also a bit.ly address. And we'll go ahead and put that on Friends of First Sky Omaha so you can hit that and register. Check it out. Key topics, job training programs and career pathways, opportunities to advance in jobs and careers, strategies to increase income, career mobility, and wealth, high demand and sustainable job opportunities in the metro area. We're learning that they are connected to a whole lot of individuals. When they have a job summit, there's going to be a lot of jobs available,
Man.
lot of stuff out there. So go there a little early, get you some free breakfast, network, and get some of these resources, man. When now I know when I see the Empowerment Network say free community resources, they need to put that in bigger print because
Man.
because what I'm understanding is that we got everything we need in the Black community as far as that stuff's concerned.
I've been saying it.
I keep on every time I'm reaching out for any kind of resource. There's a black owned organization that's doing the good work that they can direct us to, that can help with everything that we're doing business wise. We're looking at that now. We're looking at Hayes and Associates. I want to have a conversation with them about the financial situation of First Sky Omaha. Just there's so many. Vita Jeffries, the Jeffries consultation is if you're having trouble trying to get that 1024 money, they got the consultation. It goes on and on. There's so many resources out there. When they say resources available, they're not just talking about general resources like the Chamber of Commerce or whatever. They're talking about in the Black community, serving needs of Black and BIPOC people in a big way. They're all here. It's all here, and
Mhm.
we got it. We got it all. We have it all right here for the taking if we choose to step up to it. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I've been saying we all we got, but that's enough. That's enough. So yeah, and also check out their business the directory that they just released
Mm.
recently. Is I believe we posted that on our Facebook page, Friends of First Sky group on Facebook, so you can check it out there. And then also, I didn't want to kind of hammer in as far as the ET situation, man. for those of you who don't know, Eric Thomas, the #1 public speaker in the world, top public speaker in the
Wow.
world, Craig, coming to Omaha.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I hadn't heard him until I saw him speaking. I was like, okay, I
No,
got it.
it's legit, right? Just check him out.
Yeah.
Check him out.
Tony Johnson in the chat. Look at the city budget. The city can take some of that money projects have not using for years and reallocate that.
Mm-hmm.
They move that money around all the time. They just
Yeah.
reallocate it to the other things that don't got nothing to do with us half the time. So that's the reason why we got, man, keep some eyes on it. Take a look at it. Speak up about it. Talk to your legislature. Talk to the county commissioner. Talk to talk to everybody who got control of these dollars and say where we want them to go. Got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Von Chapman still talking about bond issues, saying they are done behind closed doors. A lot of stuff in Omaha is done behind closed doors for real.
Yep.
The mayor has already funded everything surrounding fire and police departments. These bonds have nothing to do with the needs of the black community. Like I said, in a roundabout way, I think a lot do. The black community also enjoys the parks and everything else that some of this money is going to.
And drive on the streets.
And drive on the streets. Black community especially. I'm tired of getting new tires every time I hit a pothole.
Yeah, go ahead and fix that. Fix that.
Yeah, and again, I think that the idea here is that we know they exist. So now it's time to call the mayor, time to call your elected officials and be like, yo, where's the money going to? What's going on here? Love it. Mama God in the chat. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. She says Omega Fraternity is hosting program for youth and family to understand economic and emotion impact of murder. Wow. The program is this Saturday at Pleasant Green from 2 to 4. She says I'll post the flyer in Friends of First Sky. I appreciate that very much.
Actually, that flyer I sent you this morning. I don't know if you got it in your email. I emailed it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called Before the Casket. Shout out to Omega Sci-Fi. It's also in partnership with the National Order of Black Law Executives, also known as Noble. So yeah, again, this is apparently individuals who have been impacted by gun violence in the community are speaking out and kind of trying to explain to the youth just the wide-reaching implications of murder and gun violence in the community. Not only the individuals impacted, not only the victim, but the families of the victim, the family of the suspect, the greater community at large, all impacted by these things, whether directly or indirectly. So again, you see it Before the Casket, a presentation of those affected by a homicide in the community, family, police officers, doctors, coroner, preachers, and others. So again, it's going down this weekend, Saturday from 2 to 4 at Pleasant Green Baptist Church.
It looks like black.
It's the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, also known as Noble. So Black Law Enforcement, Black Police Officers Association, Mega Sci-Fi, all coming together for this.
All right. If you bold enough, try to make the meeting.
Yeah, check it out. Also, speaking of meetings, they're reminding people that the Omaha Public School Board meeting also going down. I believe that's next Monday, the 16th.
Yeah.
From 6 to 7 at the TAC building. Again, shout out to Brother Marlon Harrison for dropping that in. Friends of urging people to check it out and voice your concerns, especially in light of the shooting at Northwest.
There you go. With the few minutes we got left, I just want to highly encourage people, please go ahead and sign up to the newsletter. Let me go ahead and throw that weekly wrap link in the chat for you to sign up. Really appreciate that very much. Please sign up to that. And this is the opportunity for us not just speak to you, but also the dialogue can happen here too. You can respond to this. We have a survey on the front of the page there that we would love for you to fill out so we can kind of get a feel for where it is, what kind of news you think is important, where you are when you get your news, how you get your news, and so on and so forth. Because we're always trying to check in so that we can kind of meet everybody where they're at with this. We're kind of having some new revelations about our role and what it is that we're doing here in Omaha and why and where it fits. And we hope that we're bringing you some value. So we're going to keep on putting those questions out there so we can keep on making sure that we bring that kind of value and keep on discussing the things. And this is all so we can be more informed more informed, and we can't just rely on mainstream news for everything all the time. It's been a really eye-opening thing for me to have these discussions with you guys and read between the lines on some of these news things, and also get it from the source when we bring people on and so on and so forth. So, this is us doing that fourth estate, man, the fourth branch of government that we do here with this side of the journalism piece and the discussion piece as well, and really kind of just everybody being more informed. And I hope that you guys get that. I totally get it from doing this, and let's keep on asking those questions and make sure that we keep on meeting each other where we're at on those things, and so we can get there. We may not always agree on everything, and that's cool. That just gives us more information on all fronts, on all sides. But this is supposed to be a genuine discussion. So I appreciate that. For the most part, that's what we do. We don't do a whole lot of coming on trying to change a whole bunch of people's minds and advocate and do a whole lot of lobbying and stuff like that on this on this show. We actually get into some actual discussions about why we feel like we feel and why we do what we do. And I want to continue that. So I appreciate it. Feel like you guys are fam, and always bring in more people that you think will be like-minded, that as far as just the idea of us having a discussion about these things, and bring them on so we can get some more voices in. We really appreciate that very much.
Yep.
Pop says outstanding show. I guess we are coming to the end. Oh, it is 9
Yeah,
o'clock.
yeah, it's that time. Yeah, yep. Let's
Buddy, you got some
put a
words?
period on it.
Put
Wrap it up, B.
exclamation point even.
Yeah,
Buddy, you
yeah,
got
yeah,
some
yeah.
words for the people?
Yeah, again, thank you to Mr. Lance Fritz for coming through and speaking to us. So hopefully we can hear more from you. Also, thank you to all of you chat chimers, as always, ghost listeners, monitoring spirits, co-hosts, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. First time, last time listeners. I do want to acknowledge we had a Miss Krishan or Chris Ann on the
Mhm.
chat. Apparently, she's trying to hook us up with Dan Osborne, who's also running against Deb Fisher. So
Okay.
yeah, if you have any candidates that you are interested in hearing more from and would like to see on our platform, let us know. Let us know. We're open to having that opportunity and again informing you so you can make the decision for yourself. That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate. We want people to be informed and geared and equipped to impact their communities in the way that they see fit. So yeah. If there's any candidates that you'd like to see, let us know. And any ballot initiatives we're not talking about, drop that in the chat as well. So again, thank you. Catch the same time, same place here Monday and Wednesday on First Sky Omaha in the morning. You can also catch us every Friday on the weekly rap newsletter. And of course, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page to catch other content that we have coming down very soon. And we're working on some shows. We have some other side content that we got brewing, man. So again, big shout out to everybody who has supported us thus far, and I'm looking forward to continue receiving your support. So we thank you. In the meantime, between time, Paul B,
Yo.
take it away, man.
Man, just want to let everybody know that we are doing a little bit of advertising now. We're doing some sponsorships,
Yes, sir.
doing some even influencer marketing for you. So if you're interested in any of those things for your campaign or your business, hit us up, firstsky@gmail. Somebody will get back to you, and we'll definitely talk to you about some of those things and send you a rate sheet over and all those good things, so we can continue to do that. And while I'm talking about some people that have done that, shout out to Drunk Ship Coffee again
Yeah,
for
man.
supporting the channel as well. Go to drunkshipcoffee.com. Order your beans, sourced from a single farm in Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. Medium roast, how it's supposed to be. And yeah, man, good flavor here. So definitely check them out. It's a black-owned company out of California, family-owned company, as a matter of fact.
There you
And
go.
yeah, man, they're doing the thing. So shout out to Drunk Ship Coffee, and shout out to everybody who's already supported them and supported us. Also, we'll be having Ashley Vaughn on here pretty soon too, man. She's, like I said, she's one of the hardest working women in community right now. Not only is she running for District 13, but she's doing a bunch of different stuff with IB Black Girl, and also more activism and just more involvement in the community. You can't. I don't even know where she gets the energy to
Man.
keep up what she got going on, but she'll be around here as well. Because she's also working with us. We're working with her on her campaign. So again, if you have campaign ideas and stuff like that you want to work with us on, let us know. firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. Also, drop your email address over there as well, so that we can send you out the newsletter. And let's definitely communicate there. And please fill out that survey on the newsletter if you get it. With that said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Pop says, outstanding show, excellent week, and looking forward to next week. Sending you all mad love from Las Vegas.
Hey.
Appreciate all your support always, Pops, always supporting. and sending information and all kinds of stuff that you do as well. We really appreciate that. Can't do the show without you and others like you who are all about helping us host this thing and make it
Yeah,
happen.
man. Big
So
time. Big time.
that's right. RG said, "Look, y'all don't have to believe in the concept of time today. Always trying to get us to go 3 hours long. Always
Trying to
trying
hold us hostage.
we are going to get out of here though. So shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you and with you as well. You allow us to
Amen.
speak before you and with you. I appreciate the elders that are on here as well. And also shout out to you, the chat chimers, who come in with all these great comments and questions and very respectful to the guests that we bring on and so on. Can't thank you enough. Really appreciate it very much. With that said, like I said, we'll have special guests. Oh, there he is, Sherman Wells. Much love, Brother
Hey,
Vegas.
peace, peace, peace,
Yeah,
peace. Big
gotta
shout
have.
out to the work you're doing with the Underwood Tennis Group. Fight the
Hey,
towers.
fight the
Fight the
towers.
towers.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll have some updates on that too. We got to have Brother Sonny Lee back on as well, and we'll be bringing on. We'll reach out to Sherman, see if Sherman got some time to come on. He's out there doing the good work.
Yeah, man. Boots to the
Out there
roots.
doing the good work, man. Boost to the roots. So appreciate you, and appreciate everybody who is part of this thing that we're trying to do, which is make life better out here
Yeah,
in our neighborhoods. Big
that's
way.
it.
That's it. That's all there is to it. Peace and love. You guys have a good one. We'll see you Monday.
Man, remember, we are one. Peace.
Peace.
By the way, Van